Think advertising on TikTok isn't for your business? Think again.
We've generated over 100,000 leads, which has converted into over 40,000 sales for our pet insurance policies. My name is Trey Farrow. I am the CEO of Spot Pet Insurance. TikTok's Smart Plus AI-powered automation takes the guesswork out of targeting, bidding, and optimizing creative. If I can advertise on TikTok, you can too.
Drive more leads and scale your business today, only on TikTok. Head over to getstarted.tiktok.com/TikTok ads.
AI agents are everywhere, automating tasks and making decisions at machine speed. But agents make mistakes. Just one rogue agent can do big damage before you even notice. Rubrik Agent Cloud is the only platform that helps you monitor agents, set guardrails, and rewind mistakes, so you can unleash agents, not risk. Accelerate your AI transformation at Rubrik.com. That's RUBRIK.com.
Mientras los quienes de Villaquién reían y comían, el Grinch desde su guarida su plan definía. Pensó, ¿cómo arruinar sus cenas festivas? Y le vino una idea, de las más retorcidas. Salpicaré sus papitas de verde, con sazón de pepinillo, y con esos feos calcetines verán mi retorcido motivo. Así que si quieres probar lo que el Grinch preparó, ve a McDonald's y verás lo que tramó. El nuevo Grinch Meal, ya, en McDonald's. En McDonald's participantes hasta agotar existencias. Para pa pa pa.
What is up, Los Angeles, and welcome back to your Rams LAFB show. It is Wednesday, so that means Erin Coscarelli is here with her practice report live from Rams HQ. First off, how we doing, Erin? How is Wednesday out there in Woodland Hills?
It's a little breezy,
right.
a little busy, but you know, the usual, an opportunity to regroup. We'll talk about that. And, you know, I think the big storyline that most fans, media, national media, we're all just trying to collectively understand what happened in that game. And, you know, Coach was was today at presser, we had Coach, followed by Stafford. We were supposed to have Davante, but media let us know that he was not available because he wasn't available to play. He popped up on the injury report, which he's dealing with a hamstring. Mm-hmm. So when that happens, media can't really chit chat. So,
gotcha. Yeah, there was a couple of interesting injury notes. All of these players are expected to play, but per Adam Grossbart of the OC Register, Kyren Williams, Cam Kinchins, and Omar Speights all limited today. Davante Adams, Darius Williams, and Poona Ford not practicing. But like I said, all are expected to play on Sunday. Ever the optimist, Sean McVay. But you kind of touched on it already. I mean, coming out of that really surprising and tough loss, the locker room felt very motivated and very dialed in to kind of bouncing back from what was, I guess it seemed like everybody was shocked, and we were talking earlier with your colleague Tyler Dragon of the USA Today that maybe some of these young guys were smelling themselves heading into the Carolina Panthers game. Can't do that anymore. I mentioned it before. Kobe Turner's interview after that game. He's one of the leaders on the defense. I feel like. I don't know if he's a captain or not, but he is smart and he definitely takes on a leadership role. I don't know if he's officially there yet, but he was super motivated and dialed in and just wanted to correct all. He was like, I'm getting on the tape on the bus. We're not wasting any time on this. We're going to correct all these problems, which is what you want to hear. What was the feeling kind of at the podium and around practice today?
Rejuvenated, refreshed, an opportunity got brought up, and not even one iota blinking an eye with regards to what the critics or the or whatever media had to say, because and you and I talked about it right after the game, and we even did our a FanDuel show together. They were double-digit favorites. They were expected to go in, blow out Carolina, and lead the East Coast with an early kick, with a win on their back and a 10-2 record. And obviously that didn't happen. And the attitude in this at Rams HQ is like, we're learning from this. Stafford was at the podium. I asked him, what did you learn? Did you learn anything about this team other than the obvious? And he said, he kept using the word resilience, which adversity, resilience, opportunity to respond just kind of seems to be the sort of echoing sentiment around here. And I guess that's kind of, I would say that's what you hope the team pulls from this, and I think just trying to take this as an opportunity to find out what you can get better at, what you can improve upon, and learn from. And, the other thing that Stafford, which I appreciate, is he said, after being in this league for so long, he's had to adapt to having a short-term memory. One of the things I did want to ask Stafford was like, how do you do that in game? I didn't ask that. But one of the things that McVay always says is be present, which is like, if you think about McVay, he's got one of the most photographic memories. Is that because the dude is just always freaking present? I mean, like, I see I'm like, squirrel 90% of my life, this guy's always present. It's pretty, I mean, he must be, because he can remember almost every play of every game back from when he was a coordinator, tight ends coach with Washington.
Yeah.
So the sentiment around here is very positive. It is a loss. It's only their third loss. It's an opportunity to get into the right gear down the stretch against a very important NFC West opponent. And just because the Cardinals are 3-9 does not mean the Rams are taking this any more lightly than if it were a 9-3 Seahawks team.
Yeah, it seems evident. And I mean, Matthew Stafford at the podium after that game was one of the more curt and less effusive podiums I've ever seen him give. And it's funny you mentioned this because, from a fan's perspective, from the people that we were hearing from anyway on our live show and kind of the fallout that I've seen in comments around different social media is like the wheels were coming off of this thing. Like one of our guests was saying they're going to end up with 7 losses, that this proved that this team was garbage. And, bad teams beat good teams all the time in the NFL. And this was just one where they got. And I think, this is a league of matchups. I feel like, where if you get a bad matchup, and this one was with a team that could run the ball, was incredibly patient, as I keep saying, and and got the explosive passes when they could. So yeah, I mean, now that it's in the rear view and cooler heads are prevailing, and they're still in control of their own destiny. They still have a good shot at the number 1 seed. They kind of in that vein, they have to win this game to maintain that control they have over getting the number 1 seed. And I think that's super important. You had a chance to sit down with Jared Verse, one of the stars of this game. How did that go? And what's on his mind? Yeah.
And really quickly, just to sort of button up your point about they got, but they still very much have the opportunity to get the 1 seed. One of the things Coach McVay said too is he's like, we don't even know if we're going to the playoffs. Like, we're not looking at this as though anything is in the bag. And I appreciated that he approaches it from that kind of, modest standpoint, because you and I see this team, and, you even have a great piece on your Twitter or X account about Stafford and Davante's just insane connection on the goal line.
Yeah.
And it did seem that way. And you're like, okay, this is, I mean, and it ended up being a crazy chess match. I mean, it was one of my, like, even though the Rams lost, I thought it was one of the most exciting games and had every theme you could imagine. It had crazy weather, it had turnovers. And I really think at the end of the day, the way, and I'll get to what my point is with regards to my conversation with Jared Verse, I think this team, it didn't necessarily got, but what I think happened was there was no momentum or emotional positive progress moving forward where they could go like, yeah, like, except for that Puka play and maybe the Jordan Woodington, like Blake Corum chunk play. You know, there wasn't like this crazy turnover that you're like, yeah, where they had this momentum to build off of. That's how I saw it. I thought that this team really needed some like spirit. And when we were talking to Tyler, he said they seemed like they were like asleep or whatever. And maybe the 10 a.m. kick, the East Coast travel, you know, the themes of that they were hearing the whispers of being number one all week long, maybe. But, you know, I think when you have Jared Verse, who's coming off of a defensive rookie of the year campaign, who knows he's a leader, who is a true engine, is a very, very loud vocal. He's loud on the practice field. He's loud in the locker room. Yeah. He is like, you know, he's loud at training camp at the podium. You know, he has this power and this command and this imposing like energy about him that, you know, I was just curious, you know, and I try to get Puka, but sometimes, you know, they're in the locker room and I'm like, all right, I'm just get my one or two questions in if I can. So I didn't get Puka because I wanted to get both sides with, you know, a couple of more on the younger side. How do you navigate this? Because let's keep in mind too, like Jared's 24, 25. These are young guys still emotionally. When you go through a really tough loss, how do you recalibrate? How do you reframe it? And what resonated with you? And you know, Jared, I said to him, I said, what did coach say to you after the game? He said, you know, after the game, he took me aside and he said, this is an opportunity to respond. You know, which coach said that today too. So he's not telling us, the media, anything different than he is telling these players. And Jared Verse really made an interesting point that, you know, people are watching this game. They're paying to, you know, invest in the results of your team. He feels that. And he's like, you know, we don't want to disappoint. You know, we're here. We want to take every team seriously. So, you know, I think all of that to say, I think he was just trying to fight back the notion that the Rams did not take the Panthers seriously when they did. And it just ended up being the result. I mean, and that was the other thing Stafford said. That was the other thing Stafford and McVay said today was 3 turnovers, and yet they only lost by 3 points. They were still in it at the very end, you know. So even though that last turnover was really essentially at the end of the game, you know, they had 3 turnovers, and it was very much an opportunity to tie the game, go into overtime. And so I actually think they're finding ways to pull out the positives despite the negative.
Yeah, you keep touching on the emotional aspect of this. And I think some people try to discount that and say, well, you know, these are professionals. They show up all the time. You know, these are machines. They're highly trained. It's all in there from the play calling. You even mentioned before we started recording, you know, McVay's had a little bit of a emotional response to a certain flag that was thrown late in the game that he felt was a little bit. What did he have to say about that flag?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was frustrated. The delay of game. I was trying to see if there was any story or anything written on X about that, because I think it was Gary Klein that asked of the LA Times. He said, you know, again, how often does that ever happen to a Stafford? You know, we get it, a rookie, a 2-year, you know, but Matthew Stafford's been doing this for a long time. How come that happened? Did you see it that way? And McVay is like, it doesn't matter. The whistle got blown. The call was made. It doesn't matter. But he made it seem, and exactly kind of how you worded it, that he didn't see it the same way. So he thought that they should have given them an extra second, or, however that's supposed to go. He did not see it that way, but he also said, but I understand and I respect the way it went. But he was, he kind of did like a chuckle and was like, it didn't go our way. I didn't see it that way, but what are you going to do now?
Yeah. I'm of two minds when talking about the referees. Obviously bad calls are made in every game, but then you get some, you lose some.
Yeah.
I think that one was a pretty rough call, because usually you watch that clock.
It was the decider, right?
Yeah, 100%. So I guess they weren't afraid to decide. And with all this NBA controversy happening with the gambling allegations and whatnot, we don't want to speculate too far about any of these things, but they are in the realm of possibility for sure.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But I mean, I think it seems like they're heading into this game with the right mindset. It seems like they are healthy enough. No big injury news there. So
yeah,
I don't know. It seems like they are heading into the last stretch of the season in control of their fate, with their heads screwed onto their shoulders now. A couple of big games coming up. So
yeah.
I think a road trip to Arizona to kind of get the winning ways back under control is probably just what they needed right at this moment, wouldn't you say?
Exactly, right? I mean, and I like what we said in our post-game show, which you mentioned too, right? Q Lake not around, right? So does he offset Emmanuel Forbes, who we saw get burned a couple of times? How do they adjust that? Now you also said, missing Tyler Higbee and then sort of dialing down some of that 13 personnel. Okay, so now we know, and I saw Terrence Ferguson and I was like, oh, I want to, but I didn't, come in. I'm like, I think this is a great opportunity to see what needs to get fixed, and no better coach, in my opinion, at adjusting to certain things or adversity. So I think that let this be the litmus test of coming off a tough game, traveling to the East Coast, not liking necessarily how they finished the drives or the game, or, and I think let's see how they respond. Exactly what Jared Verse said, and really what Coach and Stafford espoused the entirety of basically the presser today. So, but it's your usual Wednesday at Rams HQ, nothing really crazy to, and I think the other good thing is most of the guys, knock on wood, are fairly healthy. So right now,
can't ask for more than that. They're going to State Farm Stadium there in Glendale, Arizona, to take on the Cardinals. They are an 8.5 point favorite, I believe. They were a 10-point favorite going up against the Carolina Panthers. So that is what it is. But we'll move on from week 13 on to 14. They're going to try to get that 10th win in the bag. Definitely go check out Sleeper Fantasy if you have not downloaded it yet. I don't know what you're doing. They're going to be with us all season. We're going to keep telling you about it. Use code RAMS LAFB to get $100 matched, up to $100 matched if you put in a $100 deposit, and if you put in less, they'll match you there as well. $20 for free if you just want to sign up. Easy peasy lemon squeezy there. Go to LAFB Network if you want to check out my writing. We are Rams LAFB on YouTube. Erin Coscarelli, where can they find you?
On all the socials, just Erin Coscarelli. I'm on Instagram, I'm on X, and like a little bit on TikTok, just a tiny bit. And on my show with you.
Yes, watch out for us on FanDuel TV this week, previewing this game with Tyler Dragon. That was a really fun time. Thanks for having me on that. Until next time, we're going to come at you again probably on Friday with another one of these Rams HQ with a lot more of that injury news and more news and notes right from the source. Talk to you guys soon.
AI agents are everywhere, automating tasks and making decisions at machine speed. But agents make mistakes. Just one rogue agent can do big damage before you even notice. Rubrik Agent Cloud is the only platform that helps you monitor agents, set guardrails, and rewind mistakes, so you can unleash agents, not risk. Accelerate your AI transformation at Rubrik.com. That's RUBRIK.com.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Grainger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.